Okay, the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're playing Masks, A New Generation.
Asks.
Woo!
Yeah. Whoosh. Whoosh.
I am Christiana Ellis, the Game Master, and for the first time in a little while, we have our full complement of players, starting with
Yay.
Nobilis playing Flare,
Zoom.
Dove Archambault playing Curie,
What happened?
and Lee Burdett playing Mayhem. You are muted, Lee.
I'm always muted.
Jason Banks playing Vanguard.
Oh, so exciting, so dramatic.
Millie Katie playing Ilanil.
All right, what am I waking up to?
Well, we shall see. And Paul Weimer playing Antares.
This one is for you, Christiana. A place where supervillains dare to show the benches on which the harbors go. They called it Harbor City.
Halcyon City. But
Halcyon
yes,
City.
thank you. I love the reference. Xanadu's a great movie. I believe that unironically.
I know.
Anyway, I believe I've said so on the show before, thus the reference. Anyway, when last we left our heroes, a couple of them were in a tight spot. We had a variety of, characters experiencing a little downtime and exploring, new options or possible new paths for their characters and trying new things. But Vanguard, having been troubled by nightmares related to a battle for which he had only I think we established you were too young to have like actively participated at that time, right?
Yes, yes.
So a terrible fight put to the mystic marksman, whereupon the supervillain Reaper was defeated, killed, but only with the loss of one of your own. But as you revealed in secret to some of your companions, the closely held secret is that Reaper actually was the Rifle Revenant, one of your own, before he turned evil. And there is a monument where his body was supposed to have been laying in state, but when you went to go investigate and make sure that it was still there, you broke open a statue in a public park, and instead of a body, there was a bomb with the clock ticking down, and it blew up, and you were able to, get yourself and Mayhem out of harm's way just in the nick of time. But now there is, chaos in this square as the in the middle of the night, there has now been a big explosion right in this monument. Meanwhile, Curie had followed you because you, Vanguard and Mayhem, snuck out in the middle of the night for unknown purposes. And in the attempt to rush to your aid when the explosion happened, Curie found their progress arrested by being surrounded by these strange robotic minions created by Reaper, known as the Grave Tide. And that was left as a cliffhanger. So, naturally, with a cliffhanger that juicy, we're going to open with a character entirely unrelated to any of that. So, Ilanil, you have been living at the Harbor Kids headquarters for it's been, maybe not quite a week, but you haven't really had, your new friends have had a couple of encounters, a couple more encounters with individuals who seem to have benefited from magic amulets that you think are connected to, Colonel Karkov and your father.
Parthan.
Tarzan, is that right?
Tarzan.
Okay.
Yep.
You guys are probably right. But yes, the Colonel and so you know that that's kind of been ongoing, but you also know that the last time you had actually tracked the Colonel down directly, it was kind of a touch and go situation from which you needed to flee. So I think you've been, kind of brooding on what your next steps should be. And so I think, it's, I don't know. Have you been like meditating? Have you been in like trances or like what have you been?
Primary, like a lot of trances, and part of it to kind of get used to what magic is around here. In terms of like, if there's a more efficient way for me to use it without kind of draining myself dry every time, because I'm still not going to do the take from others thing.
Yeah.
That's a no-go. But the rules on this universe are different.
Yeah. So I think that you are perhaps, alerted out of your most recent meditation because you realize that the headquarters has a little sort of alert system that's designed to notify folks when there's there's something's happening that you might want to pay attention to. But what you realize is that little alert's kind of been going for a little while. Nobody has stopped it. I think you wouldn't normally presume to go in and deal with the computer and stuff like that yourself, just because you're, you tell me if how you feel about it. I'm just assuming that, but
yeah, it's more of in some ways, I don't think I feel completely like an official member of the team. Yes, everyone's taking me in, but still kind of new enough to get a, like, if we had like group, like if there was like a group ring or a group symbol or something like that, I don't think I've gotten it yet. So a little bit of privacy before like rummaging through everything. But since it hasn't picked up, it's like, oh wait, what is going on? And I will go take a look at it.
So I have presumed a little bit that Antares is sleeping at home, as has been often the case, and
That makes
Flair. I guess I don't remember if we had established specifically that you were off somewhere else. I guess I kind of assumed that too. Tell me if you think Flair would have been at the headquarters. Nobelis?
Oh, no, I'm definitely not. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, I was just double checking just to make sure that I hadn't like misremembered that you did come back or something. Okay.
Nope. I came back momentarily and then left again.
All right. So, so Ilanil, I think that you I think you kind of you come out of the room that they've made up for you, and this is for everybody. What does this alert sound like? This is not the full-scale red alert, everybody scramble. This is the potential noteworthy incident is happening. What's that sound like?
Ping, 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 ping. That's my thought.
A ship's bell, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very Barbary.
Okay, so it's been going on for a while, and usually by this time someone else has picked it up, like a phone call. So I'm going to go take a look.
Yeah. yeah, you go kind of make your way into like the common room, and nobody's around. Um, everything's, it's nighttime, but everything's very quiet. And I think you make your way to where that the computer that has these displays is going, and it's got a big screen, because of course all of these computers have a big wall screen, right? Like that's just how they work in comic books. Um, and yeah, so I think it's showing the little symbol, like with a little map next to it, showing a little circle on part of the map, but it's waiting for someone to like log into the computer to fully display.
Um, I don't know that I have a login.
Hmm?
Um,
Just try pressing the
I don't think
button.
I don't think I've even been like kind of asked about it, because like
Mhm.
I've also been kind of figuring out like how to better operate in this world anyway. So you said there is like a map with a general like dot where it's
Yeah,
or
but it's
okay.
not. I don't know how have you been studying maps of the city? Do you think you would be able to recognize it, especially if it's
Not
downtown and not in the immediate
Yeah,
vicinity?
not really, although I do have some experience from downtown because of like the oh, what was it?
The
Mr.
cake incident.
Yeah,
Mystic
the
Martin.
cake. No, well, the cake incident, but also the with the guy in the ice cream and the
Mm-hmm.
festival and the
Hmm,
average,
yeah.
Mr. Average, um,
Lukewarm.
lukewarm.
Lukewarm, yeah.
So I'm also going to think that okay, if something's come up enough that it's doing the ding 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 thing, if I like head in the direction I know downtown is, it'll be kind of obvious that something's going on.
Poke your
Yeah,
head out the
probably.
window and see where the big cloud of
So,
dust is.
so yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So, or like siren is like alarm, other alarms and
Mm-hmm.
such. So I'm just going to head that way.
Okay, you're not making any effort to like call out or even check to see if anyone else is here.
Oh, I will. Okay, yeah, I will go. Like, I will check to see if anyone's just slept through it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean,
it
we're
sounds,
teenagers. That happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I don't think, I think, yeah, it's like I'll look into the various rooms, and if
Mm-hmm.
there's no one else, I'm just going to wing it.
Yeah, it does seem, I think, a little strange to find yourself all alone here.
Yeah.
Didn't Carrie leave a note for Alano? I
Oh, you
think I
know what?
remember
I
that
think
from
you might be
yesterday.
right. You might be
Oh,
right.
okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
think you know what? I believe that you did, now that that Lee mentions that. So in any
Um,
case, if you want to, maybe we don't all remember exactly the details of what the
Okay.
note said, but do you want to decide now what it said, Curie?
uh, following Mayhem Vanguard to someplace in town, we'll try and be back.
Okay. Big enough other than downtown. Got it. I'm going to wing it.
Well, my understanding is Carrie didn't actually know where they were going. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
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 So, um, there's this alarm going off downtown. I'll make sure I have my hood up, and it's nighttime, so maybe not glasses, but
Hmm.
like I'll head in that direction.
Mm-hmm. So I think that I need both Antares and Flare. I think it makes sense that, at least in theory, your headquarters, could send these alerts to your sort of personal communication devices.
Mhm.
But given that it's not the full red alert summon the team level thing at the moment, I would have to imagine that there is some degree of customization in terms of how it might notify you. Like, is this
Yeah.
just like receiving a text where you just kind of like you can silence it and then just not even notice, or what do you think?
I'm thinking like a text for Antares.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Flair's ring vibrates. What time? This was late at night, right?
Yeah. This is late.
Okay.
Past midnight.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's say that Flair was canoodling with his girlfriend.
Mhm.
But she's like one of the very few people who actually knows who he really is.
Yeah.
At least we've had the wink, so I'm pretty sure she knows.
Yeah.
And
I also, I guess, I want us to have a little bit of a better picture here
Okay.
of the canoodling, because not that we need excessive detail, but what we have here is a sun dweller using a special suit to be like contained safely in human spaces, and we have a creature from a gas giant who has also got a special suit for similar reasons. Both of you
Right.
currently disguised as humans, or at least you
Right.
were when you were outside. I don't know if you are still doing that in your dorm room. But
well, see, I mean, Flair well, the suit is first of all designed to like emulate a human body
Sure.
as much as possible.
Mhm.
You know, fully functional, as Data would say.
Mhm.
And um, you know, I think that he and his girlfriend are like comparing technologies.
Aurelia.
Aurelia, yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, and we can probably put a veil over exactly
Sure,
how that's
sure.
going.
I guess I was
For
really
the
just trying.
I mean, you know, we wanted to keep this comic book safe.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
But if we
um,
were going to have a panel like cut to Flair, are we seeing both
yeah.
of you still in your disguises, or both of you in sort of your normal suit
We're
form? Or
we're in our disguises.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, just
You
in
know.
case someone were to walk in, I suppose. Does
Yeah,
Flair have
yeah.
a roommate in the dorm?
Oh,
You know, these days you get a singleton is only for like RAs and people like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's got a roommate. His roommate is always somewhere else.
Hmm.
Um, or they've got like an understanding.
Mm-hmm.
the sock system.
Yeah, something like that. I think that's a complication I don't want to add just quite yet.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Um,
So roommate, if existent, is not present.
It's not present yet. Yeah. That can be
Mm-hmm.
uh, that can be something we throw in later.
Unless you want
But
to do your
anyways,
roll for the move right now to see.
um,
But we don't have to. I know I'm kind of intruding for flavor here. You were going to describe how you received this notification.
yeah, his ring vibrates, and it's a fairly high level alert. He just says, "Oh, ooh, something's come up. You can come with me if you like, but I need to go." And he's going to open
Well,
up the
do
window,
you
and
want me to come with you?
I mean, can you fly?
I mean, I can I'm not practiced because we're not supposed. I haven't been doing very much in the surface.
All right, take my hand.
Oh,
And
Okay, I'm not the
Oh,
one
God.
who thought of 1980
Yeah.
Superman movies.
Can you read my mind? Anyway, yeah. So,
So
yeah.
yeah, in the course of going out the window, well, I'm going to take a look out the window, see if there's anybody, because it's late at night. The place should be pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I will turn like all black to be as invisible as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and fly off into the sky and then transform into my flare persona at that time. And I'm going to invoke my mask power to swap my freak and mundane.
Oh.
Once per session, you can affirm either your heroic or secret identity or switch your mundane with your mask's label. And my mask label is freak.
Hmm.
Oh.
I think that you, although you are certainly getting ready for serious business, you do hear from Aurelia just a very muted
Aww.
Aw.
but
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, she's tagging along at least for now.
And I will get the alert like heads up style in my glasses.
Mhm.
You know, I'll find out what the detail is after I've gotten away from the campus.
Sure. So Antares, it's late at night. One might assume you were sleeping, but you tell me.
Um, I'm not sure. I'm going to roll a die and find out.
Oh,
If I
okay.
get a hit, I'm awake. If I get a miss, I am not.
What are you rolling?
2d6.
Okay.
No.
Look at that.
I'm
There's
awake.
there's those full hits that you
Yeah, it's like,
you're
where
always
did that come
complaining
from?
about, and so that means what? So why are you awake? What are you doing?
Uh, what am I doing where I am? I am playing some sort of online war game or something that I shouldn't be doing on Saturday night. Whatever the equivalent of PUBG or whatever it is in this universe.
Okay.
Just why? Why? Because he's bored and he wants some action and he hasn't had any real action in a bit, and then suddenly, in the middle of a firefight, the
Mhm.
alarm goes off and he gets he gets fragged. Puts on the
Yeah.
controller
Mhm.
and looks at the alert, blinks, puts on his costume, and starts running up. So yes, downtown. Yeah, he really
Well,
needs a bit
so
of
I
motivation.
want some clarification too, because I think both Flare and Antares, when you get this notification, I think what you're also seeing is that at the headquarters, nobody has responded to the signal.
That is alarming.
So I guess the issue is it's giving you a little sort of like computer has a note, no one has picked it up. So I think you can get like the quick version of the location. It's like sort of like a text preview, but you can
Yeah.
see that like there's more information that hasn't been cleared to release yet.
Okay, so that means he's going to head for headquarters then, because
Okay.
then something has really gone south. Why hasn't Curie or anybody else picked, or Vanguard or Mayhem done anything with this?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't expect Delano to understand computers yet, and Flair is off being, Flair's secret identity. So I'm going to head for headquarters.
You don't actually know where Flair's been.
Oh, that's right. Wherever Flair
Flair's
is, whatever
being
Flair's
Flair.
doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going to head for headquarters then. Not
Okay.
for the
Yeah.
preview. Because something's wrong.
Yeah. All right. So, just for the visual, Vanguard, can you remind everybody what these Gravetide little robot minions look like?
Think
Oh, there you go.
think of a crab or spider-like body, but it's made out of the thing from it. So it's goopy and spindly, and it has pincers and no mouth, or I'm sorry, a mouth but no eyes, and it finds things and gets a hold of them and stuffs them into that mouth. regardless of it being human, inanimate, or whatever.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I had just been saying robotic because I think that might be what we were saying last time.
Yeah.
But if they're sounds like they're not robotic.
Well, like biomechanical, I would
Okay,
say.
yeah, but so like created, like constructed creatures, but
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Like if a necromancer decided to be Baxter Stockman.
Okay, there you go. All right. Love that. Or, love hearing about it. Probably wouldn't love
You know,
being
hey,
in Curie's situation.
now to be fair,
Hmm.
this situation could have been worse. We could have desecrated a corpse and still blown a hole in the ground. But luckily,
Yeah. So, Curie, I think that we had established that you were not up on a rooftop
Uh-uh.
for this. You were watching from around the street corner, and it's
I
you
was
know
I was in a tree, but then I moved in closer to try and see what was going on.
okay, all right. So I think that you are still, at least you weren't. I think you're not quite in shouting distance from
Hmm.
everyone
Yeah.
else because you were trying to keep your distance and not be spotted. Am I
Yeah.
wrong?
Uh, yeah, basically. I was trying to move in to hear what they were saying, but
Right, but that was when you found yourself interrupted.
yeah,
Yeah. So you I think um uh
I
let's say
I imagine I'm sorry. I imagine I any shouting I might do is drowned out by raining of debris.
well, I mean, I think the raining of the debris doesn't necessarily happen too much, but also we might imagine that Mayhem and Vanguard's ears are ringing a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so you are sort of elsewhere in this park, a little bit further back. You were in a tree watching, and you were getting ready to move, but you see a couple of these horrifying little monstrosity creatures, and I don't know that you would necessarily recognize them. I don't, because this is from a villain before your time. Um, and
No.
so you see a couple of them, and I think your initial instinct to try to like pull back a little bit to assess them more closely, you realize that there's actually 5 or 6 more crawling up the tree um, towards you. So, what would you do? What like to do?
Uh, I would probably try and um go either further up the tree or out on a branch to try and um get to a point where I can drop out and be and basically drop out away from them.
Sure. So, I think that while if this was like a normal circumstance where you were just moving along the tree branch, you are skilled enough with your acrobatics that that would be trivial for you to do, and we wouldn't want to roll. But in this case, you've got little monsters coming after you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's have a roll
Freak.
for. I mean,
Leash.
this seems like unleash your powers, as
Yeah.
your powers are acrobatics and maneuverability at this point.
Okay. Oh,
Look at
regular
that.
hit.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah. So on a 7 to 9, mark a condition, or your effect is unstable or temporary. Which would you prefer there?
Honestly, I can see I I I can just imagine that she gets out, drops to the ground, and then looks up, and there's more of them around.
Yeah. So I think you sort of you managed to evade the ones that were climbing up the tree, and then like land on the ground in classic Iron Man 3-point landing, because narrative conventions are a must. And you realize, oh wait, there's actually more of them down here on the ground. They've kind of been like scuttling low in the grass, so they weren't quite as obvious, but there seem to be quite a lot of them, and they are sort of converging. At least the ones you can see seem to be converging on you.
Okay, well,
They're
Yeah,
waving
that-
their little pincers at you.
Those who fight and run away.
yeah. Um I think I'm gonna have to try and fight my way out.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
head towards the thinnest part of the mob and just try and punch through.
All right. This sounds like
Quite
directly
literally.
engaging a threat.
Yeah, and
Roll plus danger.
I doubt these are powerful. Powerful
Certainly
yeah.
individually, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not take a powerful blow at this point.
Oh, no.
Oh
Look,
no.
the little display actually says "Oh dear" on it.
Oh.
Because this is a 2, which in this system, okay, it's not literally the lowest you could possibly roll.
It is close.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. So, but it's, well, I guess it's complicated. It's because you have a -2 in danger. Is that's
Yeah.
why, right?
Yeah.
So the dice were not as low as they could be, but
Yeah.
anyway. So yeah, I think that on a miss, you head even just for those, where it seems to be thinnest. And like, what is your approach? Like, are there's definitely still some in your way. Like, are you trying to like kick them or?
I mean, how high up? Like, how tall are they?
I mean, I have the impression that these things are not like tall. Like they're
like waist height.
Yeah, think of like probably like pit bull size, like
Oh, see, that's even bigger
okay.
than I was thinking. I was
Oh,
assuming these
okay.
things were like crab size.
calf height maybe.
I was thinking knee high.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we can do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, so I would be I'd probably try and go for a kick or a grab or something
Okay.
and just toss
Yeah,
out
so
away.
I think what you discover is that their little pincers, like you are able to sort of kick a few of them clear of your path, but their little pincers are quick enough that they grab onto the material of your coat. And so now they're hanging off of you, and you're carrying that weight, and more of them are kind of coming around you, and they're swarming you and currently trying to weigh you down. So there's definitely a condition, I think, going to take associated with this.
I think afraid is
Okay.
appropriate.
So Vanguard Mayhem, we had, I believe, left things at this explosion happened, and Vanguard had just managed to fly into the air, carrying Mayhem along with him, far enough away to not be in the direct explosion radius of this bomb. But you are now looking down at this crater that obviously has a now collapsed tunnel that was underneath the statue monument. And I think that from where you are up in the sky, there's also something strange happening in the park that you can't quite see from where you are. Some kind of movement on the ground. You're not sure what it is. I mean, as players, you might have an idea.
Yeah.
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 Vanguard will look at you, look at Mayhem, and be like, "Do you think that couple is over there talking about the emotion, the commotion?" And he's like, "Because if they snuck back in, I'm pretty sure they're going to be giving our video friend a great bout of ammo. So we might want to get up over there."
I don't think that's them, because we kind of like pushed them out the opposite way, and the way to get back in there, it hadn't been long enough for a normal person to circle around that way, I don't think. But yeah, there is definitely something going on there. Let's just take a look.
Right. And I will fly us over that way slowly because I'm still not used to this. So it's like wobbly and it's kind of like going
Yeah.
up and down.
Yeah, Mayhem's not worried about you dropping her. She'll live. Tuck and roll.
All right. So are you just going back down? Because it sounded like you were sort of like guessing, but is someone wanting to assess the situation here? Or are you just moving in because you just figure you're going to go into the middle of it no matter what?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we're gonna go into the middle of it no matter what.
yeah.
Okay,
Especially,
yeah.
I mean, we did kind of blow a hole in a park.
Yeah.
So, I think as you are descending back down to the ground, you land and you realize that this strange, weird motion you were seeing on the ground is, in fact, dozens of these little crab creatures that are, that you recognize, Vanguard, as, instruments of the grave tide that are kind of surrounding the area and moving in towards you. Also, Vanguard, I'm just going to say this is not because you failed a roll, but just because of the circumstances of this whole situation. It feels to me like you might take a condition just on the basis of this is pretty intense.
Yeah. Um, yeah, he's not happy. This is
Hmm.
this is for Vanguard, he's definitely gonna take hopeless because this is basically it's like if it's basically like someone that he definitely thought was in the grave has decided to come say hi in the very worst way possible. He's actually kind of stunned and nearly drops them both out of the sky at this point. Uh, but luckily gets them to the ground, and he's like, looks at Mayhem, and he's like, I how? That they shouldn't be here. And he's like, he can't even. It seems like he's trying to summon his power, and it's just not working. He is rather flabbergasted
Mm-hmm.
because
So, because this is happening kind of both at once, we're kind of split screening almost, showing Curie not too far away, but currently getting like weighed down and swarmed by these creatures. What's your next move here, Curie? These things look like right now you don't know what these things intend to do, but right now the ones that you got close enough to are like hanging onto you from your coat, and it's hard to move.
And like her general reaction is like kind of spinning around to try and fling him off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see.
I mean,
Oh,
so
geez.
yeah, if you're just trying to escape, then I would still say that's probably another unleash your powers.
Okay. Yeah. Just
Mm-hmm. Oh
oh
boy! All right, so that's a
Wow.
6. That's another miss.
yeah.
And with no one else nearby to help,
this is
I
what
think
y'all be
that's.
doing.
Hmm?
I said, this is what y'all be doing. Y'all talk this up.
Yeah.
Y'all talk this up.
So I think that yeah. So I think that as you are sort of spinning around, you're finding that more and like you're unable to shake the ones that have already grabbed on loose, and more of them have kind of gotten to around your feet, and you are tripped, and you kind of like you fall down, and you realize they're like literally climbing all over you, and it feels like they're making something almost like a cocoon to try to seal you up in, and so that's another condition for you as well.
Okay. I'm hopeless.
Okay.
Aw.
So I think that like how many conditions are you at the moment?
2.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I started with none.
right. Okay. So I mean you yeah, this is not going great for you so far. Um
Hmm?
like you can tell that they are trying like at the very least, I don't know how much comfort you take in the fact that they don't at least seem to be immediately trying to eat you, but they do seem to be doing something to you that you would prefer they not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, it still seems like nobody knows this is even happening to you.
Yeah. I think in this situation, Carrie would just try and keep herself clear and call for help.
You've
Okay.
got
Pretty
your
much.
communicator.
Like, yeah, she like struggled, forced her hand.
Should
Mm-hmm.
there be a distress
Help, help,
Yeah.
SOS, help, help, help.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that at this point, uh, everyone we is kind of like on their way. Mayhem and Vanguard are obviously already more or less on the scene. Um, but Ilanil, Antares, and Flare, you would hear Curie calling for help.
Right.
But yeah, these things are definitely like trying to wrap you up, and you feel like probably before too long, without something changing, you're they're gonna seal you up.
Boy.
Oh,
So you just say help, help, help.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I- yeah.
narratively, I think this makes sense. We don't always
Yeah.
behave optimally, right? So I think
Yeah.
everyone at least knows that Curie is calling for help.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to use, I mean, this is my tech. I'm going to use it to find out where Curie is and just head straight there.
Great.
I am going to look for a place to drop Aurelia off
Mm-hmm.
because if um, Curie is in danger, then the danger is significant, and I don't want to involve her without her being prepared for that kind of thing. So I'm gonna look basically just kind of like a rooftop or something
Mhm.
like that.
So I think as you're doing that, she's just like, I can't come along. You don't want me there.
if you want, it's likely to be dangerous. Do you have a costume, something else to look like other than this?
I mean, she adjusts something and looks like you first met her
Okay.
in Underwater, which is that she looks, you know, uh, she is in sort of like a reverse diving suit, like with
Right.
blue skin and all sorts of like
Then that's
glowing
great. That'll be just
alien
fine.
paraphernalia.
Yeah. And I'm going to head straight for where Curie is.
Okay.
And
So I think that this you have a move for your tech, right?
yes, well, it's when I alter a human device.
Right. Okay. So I think then let's say if we it makes sense to me. You understanding the tech, if it was designed to do this, then you could just definitely say, okay,
Yeah.
where is Curie's ring?
Yeah. Yeah.
Take and go there. But we had not established quite how close you were yet. So
Right.
let's resolve that via a roll.
Okay.
Right? And
Sure.
so this seems to be probably an unleash your powers move, I would think, to try
Okay.
to
Sure.
find where Curie is and get there as soon as possible.
Sure. Full hit.
There you go. And as you were just saying, you're so happy to always be getting full hits and not, yeah. But that's good news for Curie though.
Yes.
Because I think that we, I think the panel we see shows, Flare showing like a little holographic display from the ring, and it's showing it's like, oh, that's not too far, and you head off in that direction.
Yeah.
But Mayhem Vanguard, you are surrounded by these things yourself, and you are like right there in the park. What are you doing?
Well, Mayhem, Vanguard looks shook. He looks rather rattled, actually. You've not seen him like this before.
Um.
Yeah.
Okay.
These things are coming
I
at
do
you.
have, I do have a move, but I'm not going to use it.
Okay.
The no, it's the bull's heart friend. When you comfort or support a love or rival, mark potential on a hit. It the so basically I think what Mayhem would do is get back in the air, get some eyes on us. They seem to be coming from the woods. I'll try to wade my way in there and see what's going on.
Well, so how you're proposing to Vanguard that you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it sounds. I think he was just saying he's like shaken and not thinking clearly. Are you
Yeah,
just explaining this to all of him while these crab creatures are literally like rushing you?
Yeah.
Is it a grab and shake him sort of thing?
I think it's a grab and push him up into the air kind of a thing.
Are you just like literally tossing him?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. All right. I feel like that to me, honestly, in this moment, feels like a defend move.
Okay.
You are defending Vanguard from an immediate threat because these things are swarming and he's not showing signs of moving right away.
Right. When you leap to defend your level rival in battle roll plus danger.
All right, there you go.
I have so many danger levels.
Yeah.
All right. Oh my god, that's
boy.
a miss.
Oh no!
Wow.
Yeah, and you would need more than one to make that. So I
Yeah.
think, unfortunately, so what do we think happens here, Vanguard? Do you think that you sort of instinctively are struggling, or is this just these things have moved in too fast?
I think they've moved in too fast.
Okay.
And at the same time he kind of backs away, like in like actual fear.
Yeah. Okay. So, Vanguard moving away has kind of thrown you off balance, and then you realize that these things have already started to grab on, and it just sort of disrupts the motion you were trying to make, Mayhem. And I think both of you kind of end up tumbling over together into the crater, with several of these things sort of grabbing onto you. And this in the meantime, we can see just a little balloon coming from your hands that is curious, like help.
I'm being repressed.
Yeah. So, Antares, Ilanil, how are each of you making your way to downtown? Because it's not like if you were going to walk, it would be like an hour.
So I've been trying to figure out. I thought I had said at some point I had a scooter, but I can't find a reference to it.
Oh.
But
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
it's
so it'd be a half
plausible
an
that you
hour.
could have a scooter.
Yeah. So I got something like the equivalent of a Vespa. Dad got it when he was in Italy. So that's that's what I'm like racing down towards
Roll
downtown.
2d6 just for luck here.
Oh God.
Okay, so I think, yeah, so with a 6 as a miss here, I think that we have a panel that shows, as you kind of, zooming by on your scooter, you sort of just miss seeing Ilanil, where you could have linked up, but you just miss each other. Ilanil, what are you doing? I think you recognize that you're trying to go too far for you to, like, if you're just trying to run, it's going to be too long, too slow.
Okay.
If only you had magical powers or something.
Yes, I was about to say I'm going to use just a little bit of magical boost to make me faster.
Okay. So that sounds like unleashing your powers.
Yep.
If I might offer, a lot of the stuff we've seen your magic doing is gates and things like that.
Teleport?
What if you summon a gate to
But
walk
I don't know exactly where
where you're
you
going?
are, so yeah, I don't know exactly where I'm going.
Right.
Granted, I didn't know where I was going the last time,
Hmm.
but
Which is why you're going to roll dice.
Mhm.
eh,
I mean,
oh well, I can also. The
I
thing
mean-
is, I don't know. I know that danger's in that area, but
mhm.
I don't know that y'all are already there or on the way there.
Right, yeah, literally
So
all
I
she knows
can't.
is that something's happening and nobody was around.
So I
Yeah.
can't like focus on people. I don't know. I don't know the map well enough.
Yeah.
At
Well,
least from coming to here, I had
Okay.
human.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to unleash my power to uh to just move faster.
All right.
Um see, I'm trying to it's been so long I don't quite remember. So I just roll
Oh,
freak.
Yeah, for unleash your powers, unless you have a special move that would change things.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's an 8, which means that you can choose to either mark a condition or your magical effect will be unstable or temporary. You pick.
I'll go with temporary.
Well, so I will tell you if it's like, so you're choosing to either mark a condition or I tell you what happens.
Okay.
Now you can
Okay.
still...
I'll still make it. Um.
So unstable or temporary. I'm just like it.
Yeah.
It just means you don't pick which one.
Right. Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll still. Um.
okay.
I'll still let it be unstable or whatever.
Yeah. So what I would like to suggest here is that this is maybe not a specific use of your powers you've tried before, so it's a little experimental.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to just sort of invite everyone to imagine that if you just like someone snapped their fingers and gave you the powers of the Flash, it might be a little hard to adapt to that. And so I think that there's just little things like you're now moving very fast, but also you don't necessarily have fine control.
Oh,
Yep.
And so
Fighting
I
against the pigs.
yeah. So I think that you are making rapid progress in the direction you're going, and at a certain point, you do see that there's sort of like a column of smoke that you're sort of able to follow, and you're going to get there quickly. But I think that there is a fair amount of this. I think part of what's happening is you're just feeling a little bit clumsy in this motion. You are you have you just like annihilated a mailbox at one point where it just ran right through it and it just exploded into letters, and you were protected, but you just sort of feel like, oh, you don't have very fine control over this at the moment.
You're right.
And I think you also like you realize that like this is an effect on you that like is not just a drop it as soon as you want. It's like going to last for a bit.
Okay.
But you're
Yeah.
making good progress, and I think there's just this moment where, we had the panel of Antara is zipping by on the scooter, just passing the alley where you were casting this spell on yourself. But so you're both on your way, and you're going to be there soon. Flair, you were zipping towards Curie.
Yes.
So I think you have found the spot, and I think you have seen that this park that had a big fancy statue is now a crater. There's lots of debris. A couple of trees are smoldering, and there's weird little things running all over the park. If you want more detail than that, you might need to assess the situation.
I will do that. I'm particularly looking for Curie.
Yeah, and so I think you have like a pretty
There's
close.
my
Oh.
miss.
Yeah, there you go.
There's my
Mhm.
miss.
All right. Well, so
Oh.
I think let's see. So you basically don't get to ask any of these questions.
No.
You know what I think happens is that you are following. You know what? This is what happens is that even as fast as you got here,
Mhm.
where you land to targeting Curie's ring is you see a hole in the ground
Mm.
that would be big enough to scuttle a person-sized bundle through, and you see Curie's ring sitting on the ground next to it.
Lovely.
And it's
Okay.
covered in some kind of slime.
Okay. I'm going to get on the communicator and say, Harbor Kids, it looks like Curie's been abducted by underground dwellers of some kind, and I'll pick up the ring and dramatically look at it
Mhm.
for the panel.
Meanwhile, the other harbor kids are either already locked in combat with these things or yeah, and so I think we might have a nice panel of you standing in a heroic pose, making this announcement into your ring as we see more of these things creeping up behind you.
Right.
Well, and then I
Yeah.
think and Aurelia is there too, and I think
Yeah.
probably the panel shows her looking over her shoulder a little concerned, like what? Yeah.
Flair.
Okay,
There.
Mayhem Vanguard, you have both just sort of tumbled into the crater. These things are swarming all over you, and they're like they look like they're trying to wrap you in something.
Okay. Ew. I would really like to get out of
Gross.
this.
Yeah. We're seeing the little radio signal balloon. You're hearing
Yeah.
Flair's broadcast.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I think Mayhem would just yell out, "Little busy."
I think we would have a panel showing Flair hearing that just from just over there.
Yeah.
Oh.
With voice bubbles coming from both the direction and the rating.
Yes, absolutely.
Communicator.
Mhm.
Okay, so you say a little busy, but then also what? What are you doing?
I'm going to try and get out of
Punch.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, describe what you were actually doing to in this attempt.
My first impulse is not going to be possible, but I think it's funny, so I'll say it anyway.
All right.
My first impulse is that Mayhem picks up Vanguard and uses him as picks him up by the back of his uniform jacket and just uses his legs to try and sweep the ground in front of her. But that's not going to work.
Well, so I mean,
I don't know. I'm that's not going to work. I
sure.
just thought it was
Like,
funny.
we have a little mental thought balloon of Mayhem imagining that.
Yeah, if only. So I think Mayhem is gonna try and do what Curie did, and that's just run through and see if she can get out of the hole.
Okay.
Maybe plow a path that Vanguard can follow, but
Sure. Just gonna try to bulldoze these things, huh?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that sounds. I think in this case, that's directly engaging a threat.
Okay.
Unless so is your focus to damage these things, or is your focus to create a path for Vanguard?
My focus is to create a path for
Okay.
both of us.
All right. Well, so that sounds like unleash your powers is more along the lines of what you're doing.
Okay. Do you think that I can use my punch everyone move where if you charge into a fight without hedging your bets, you can shift your danger up and any other label down?
I mean, kinda. I don't think you're really charging into battle in quite that way right now. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So you're
Yeah,
trying to
no, that's
escape.
why I asked. That's why I
Yeah.
asked.
I mean,
Okay.
I would be open to it, but I think it's questionable.
Okay. Nope, that's fine. All right, let's just roll this unleash my powers to
Okay.
be a bulldozer.
Yeah. Oh,
Full
look
hit.
at that. There you go. Full hit. So describe. So you're at the bottom of this crater. These things are all over you. You're trying to make that. So is this just a Hulk clap shockwave that sends them
No.
flying, or
I think this is she picks up one of the larger like pieces of debris from like the coffin
yeah.
that fell back into the hole, and she uses it kind of like a literal bulldozer, like a cattle catcher,
Mm-hmm.
and she just uses it to like
Yeah, you're
push
just
through
Nice.
and clear a path.
and and when Vanguard sees this, plus combined with hearing Curie in trouble, he kind of snaps out of it. But he's still not going to try to fly. He will run behind you, and to get rid of some of his insecurity here, he's going to, when he gets up to the top and he sees that the kind of, I guess, the lump that is Curie currently.
Oh
No.
No.
Curie has
No.
been taken underground into a little
Oh.
tunnel, so you don't have eyes on Curie because you didn't
Can't see the
actually ever
hole,
see where she
probably.
was.
Right.
Yeah. So the other thing that I'll just remind you is you can certainly do those things for clearing conditions now, but those methods of clearing condition won't clear it until the end of the scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, darn. Oh man, I guess I'll try to assess the situation to see, since I see the message of calling for help, but I don't see actual Curie.
Mm-hmm.
I will try to assess the situation. There's the chat window. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh
no.
no.
Oh, no.
Oh
And I will,
no.
Yeah.
and for the chat, that is the lowest you can roll because I have a 0 in superior, and
Yeah.
I rolled 2 ones.
Yeah. So I think that this is just
It's a lot for him.
I was going to suggest that you just maybe take another condition just because this is like you were already worried, but this has just gotten so bad so fast, and perhaps you're just feeling so overwhelmed you're kind of not in a state to be making coherent decisions.
Oh yeah, he's also feeling guilty because if he had have maybe told them the truth before, maybe they would have been better prepared for this. I mean, I don't know how someone would be prepared for a missing body filled with a bomb, but
Yeah.
you know,
And I mean,
Nope.
just tying back to Curie, Curie called for help, but I think you two are still not even aware that Curie was even in the area. For all you know,
Right.
Right.
Curie's calling for help for some completely unrelated situation somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all you know is that like she said, help, help, I'm being swarmed.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Curie, I think that you found these things had definitely chosen to sort of like wrap you up and like capture you in this way. You've kind of bound up in some weird like cocoon like. I feel like it's more of a membrane than like a woven silk cocoon. But it's kind of like wrapped all around you. You're not literally like completely encased. I think your face is free, but like your hands are sort of like, I'm not saying you can't move, but it is difficult, restrained as opposed to, immobilized, right? But as soon as they kind of had you, a couple of them started digging down in the ground, and they're sort of dragging you along down there. So, I mean, you're not out of this scene. Is there anything you're doing? They're trying to take you somewhere, it seems like.
Um, uh, hmm. I'm, what I'm thinking is like, I don't think I can actually physically get out of this, but I want to say that I'm trying to get an idea of what direction they're taking me.
Okay. Well,
If
so
I
you can certainly do an assess the situation.
okay.
Also, I'll invite you to, like, if you want to play along with this scenario, I'm very happy to do that. But I'll also just say, narratively, don't ever feel like you can just assume that something can't be done, just because that's what the moves are for. That's what the rolls are for, right? But
Yeah.
that
I mean,
said, if it's
but
fun to play along with, oh no, I'm captured, then I'm happy to
in
do that too.
character,
Yeah.
that's what it feels like.
Okay.
So
Sure. Yeah. Great.
okay.
But even so, an assess the situation move is probably appropriate.
Yes, I agree. Oh boy, though.
Wow.
Oh,
man.
Oh my lord!
wow.
You
This
know
is
what
for
this?
all the misses.
Yeah, I was just
I'm
gonna say, and you
sorry.
know what this really highlights too, is this the deficit that you're all under when you are kind of all fighting separately instead of going into battle as a team.
As a
Right?
team,
Yeah.
You know, because you don't have that ready access to people helping situation. But yeah, so I think unfortunately you're just sort of feeling like
Lost.
you know, they've moved you in 3 dimensions underground, and they keep kind of like turning you over, and it's made it so hard to get your bearings that I'm afraid you are going to take another condition.
Insecure.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ilanil,
Okay.
I think that as you have followed the sort of signs of chaos here, you're hearing some sirens and so on in the area. You're seeing smoke, but I think you're sort of racing into um, this park where obviously there's been a lot of destruction here,
Mhm.
and you see Mayhem holding a big piece of what looks like the statue that used to be at the center of this park. And then she seems to be defending Vanguard from a bunch of crawly things.
Oh, that's not fun.
I think you
Um,
probably also see Flare, like as you show up,
Okay.
because I think Flare stands out.
Yeah, a little
Flare
bit.
has also
Um,
got a blue lady with him.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, cool. Um, I think first, so now I'm getting an idea, like seeing these creepy crawly things, and
Mhm.
I'm going to try to assess this situation, see if
Mhm.
there's anything magical that I can interfere with.
Sure. Go ahead and roll plus superior. Wow, you guys.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, that's our
Okay.
third too.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
This is what happens. This
Mhm.
This is hilariously bad.
I think
Yeah.
yeah, I think that what happens here is that as you're trying to look around, you realize sort of belatedly that one of these things had just crawled up on you and was about to like grab your foot. And in your reaction to try to like jump back, you had miscalculated that you're still sort of at hyper speed, and you basically
Uh-huh.
just run yourself through a storefront
Oof.
across the street. So I would like you to describe to me what sort of elaborate shop window tableau you have just inserted yourself into accidentally.
Um, okay, so it's not Christmas time, so we can't go with that amusement. Um,
Memorial Day.
Haute
no,
couture.
no, this is a joke and costume shop.
Okay.
Okay.
So not only do I fall in, like go through the doors, like when I finally land, I land on a like box of whoopee cushions.
Yeah, I
And
I
I
can
end
just
up with
see the image of you kind of collapsed on this box with this sign of whoopee cushions, and we just see like a whole bunch of
Yeah,
sound effects.
and like a clown curly rainbow wig falls on top of my head.
Love that. Also, I think you take a condition.
Yeah. Uh,
This is a team game and there isn't mortified.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm already
Insecure.
insecure,
Yeah.
apparently.
Oh, okay.
That's left over from the last time I played.
I think
So
angry.
yeah, this is
Angry or guilty? Yeah.
guilty because I'm not acting like I'm not.
You
I
also
haven't.
just wrecked this shop front.
Yeah, I wrecked a shop front, and because I'm not in control.
Mm-hmm. So I think Flair, you are you have in just the last few seconds seen a bunch of that happen. You see Mayhem just like bulldoze her way up out of this crater. I think Vanguard, did you're sort of still not reacting, right? Like, have you even followed Mayhem out of the crater, or?
Yes, he did fall.
Okay.
He did. He followed her up out of the crater and tried to assess the situation.
Right,
but
right, yeah. So I think you see Mayhem and Vanguard. You know you're standing by this hole where you found Curie's ring. You saw Ilanil zip into view, crazy fast, and then just go pow into a storefront. What would you like to do?
Flair? Yeah.
Yeah.
Flair is going to use his heliokinesis and just cause a circle of light and heat and radiation to just explode outwards to clear out these things from nearby.
Okay.
And he's going to talk into his communicator is like, everybody join on me. I've got the tunnel where Curie was taken. And this is going to be a big showy display. I'm going to unleash my powers.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. There
we go.
Full hit. All right. Yeah. So
there we go.
Yeah. So this is you create this big flashy show that certainly attracts the attention of everybody in the vicinity, including Antares, who I think you've just sort of like scooted in to where you're seeing the park, and you see just big like you say up, yeah.
All the chaos. That's where we are.
And so. Yeah, and I think that this shockwave you create does leave, a good dozen of these little crawly things, just like as little, smoldering husks that are not moving. And so you've cleared a little radius around you, and made this show that kind of everybody has been able to spot. So Antares, as you're scooting in and you see that, what would you're definitely aware you're entering a battle already in progress.
Right. So I will try. I will stop the scooter and start running towards where the giant cohere sign that Flair just put up is.
Yeah, and I think on your way you're seeing the chaos, but also lots of these little crawly things, these little horrifying crab thing monsters.
I think it's time for Antares to power up. So he's going to stop, take a breath, start glowing, and he's going to charge up the burn and see what happens.
Okay.
Let's hope it works this time.
Oh God, bite your tongue.
Wow. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and you keep getting like 2s and 5s, where a 5 is not even enough for someone else. Well, okay, actually, hang on. Didn't someone say that they took a move? No, that was Curie that did. I was going to say took a move where you could add 2.
And we'd need 2.
And yeah,
two
you only
teams.
have 1 in the team because we started a new session. Wow, you got it. Yeah, so Yeah.
So I mark 3 conditions, which takes me out. I
Um,
charge myself up and I take myself out because
Wait.
I'm at 5 conditions.
Okay. So
It's when you have to take one but can't
yeah, I
because
believe
they're
that's
all
correct.
full.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
getting
So
to
that
5
puts you
doesn't
at
take you
5.
out.
You are
It's
Oh.
when
barely
it's
there.
yeah, it's when you would have to take another and can't.
Oh, okay. So I can't take another condition.
Right.
I'm at 5 conditions now. I am
Right.
afraid, angry, guilty, hopeless, and insecure.
So what goes wrong here? Like why your attempt to charge up, like, is this this is somewhat powered by your emotions, right? So like,
Right.
is this
So I think I took in the scene. I saw my friends are not all doing great, and the hopelessness and fear kind of just overwhelmed me in a tide, and the
Mhm.
power comes up flickering. I get to hold 2, but yeah, I am now a complete bundle of bad emotion of
Yeah.
terrible conditions.
Okay though, but you've got some juice though. So what do you do with it?
Um, let's see. Let's see. What would I want to do? I want to. Well, I see all these things around me, so now I'm angry among other
Mhm.
things. So I'm just going to use one of those burns and basically just burst out and burn every single of these constructs I can see and feel with my power.
Okay, great.
Yep.
So, remind me, I'm not looking at the page. When you use those burns, is that like an unleash your powers move? Or
It is engage a threat using powers using freak instead of danger. Yeah.
okay. Oh,
I
this is the this is
Flare
the
reality
reality
storm.
storm. Yeah, so
Yep.
you're directly engaging a threat and roll your plus freak instead of the
Right.
what would be danger.
Right. So let's see. So that I'm also hopeless. That's a -2.
Wow.
No!
This is a dark day for the Harbor Kids right
I
now.
just I just
Yeah.
I just it
I
is
rolled a 1.
so it is so accurate
Mhm.
that you guys were like, man, I can't roll no low numbers.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
I think
goodness.
I think at this
Well, I'm on
point,
brand.
Well,
Brando.
yeah, I think Paul has never been. I can't roll low numbers.
No, yeah, that was
um,
me.
Now,
oh,
Paul's been. I've only rolled low
Yeah.
for mostly.
Well, no, you rolled high to see whether you were awake or not.
Yeah.
yeah.
Where it
Um,
really mattered.
I think
Uh,
at this point, Mayhem would nudge Vanguard and say, "I think this is the time when you should call Gramps and let him know."
mhm.
Because
Well, so hang on, we have to resolve this
Yeah.
miss. Because I think that so I'm trying to remember, like, where's the what's the specific language for when you take your last condition. If you need to mark a
Oh,
condition, you were taken out, you lose consciousness or flee. And you may clear one condition as part of this, but so Antari, is this a flee situation, or have you just kind of like burned yourself into unconsciousness?
I think I burned myself out trying to do this. I tried to do too much. I was attempting to, in my hubris, I'm a Nova, so I have that ton of hubris,
Hmm.
destroy all the creatures, and I just kind of just like overextended every atom I have and just kind
Yeah.
of
So I think that we saw that you were taking out a few of them here and there, like it was working, but you just it kind of just it just kept burning too bright until you sort of just like eyes roll back in your head and
slump.
mm-hmm.
Whoops.
Okay. So uh let's see, Ilanil. So yeah, I think you probably climbing out of the shop front. See first I don't know if you saw. We established that you saw the. No, you haven't seen the shockwave that Flair made because you were in the storefront. But I think you do
Right.
see um, the sort of fiery energy burst that is Antares, and probably see him
Mhm.
collapse as you're coming out of the storefront, and then all the other stuff is happening. What do you do?
Okay. Um, I am going to well, first of all, get up and um yeah, get up and like pick my like make try to like pick my way out of this storefront without damaging anything else.
Oh yeah, I think. Yeah.
But there's a couple as I get up. There's a couple of other little sparks from whoopee cushions that I hadn't knocked over
Mhm.
yet. And um, I am going to head. I was I was in the storefront, but I would have probably been able to at least see where Flare had flared
Yeah, no, I
beacon.
think so.
So
I
I'm
think
going to
yeah, as
head
you're
that
coming up, yeah.
direction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to head over there and try to move
I
like
think what you see when you get close enough is you see some of these things uh, climbing over Antares' unconscious body and starting to wrap him up in some sort of a weird slimy membrane.
okay. That's not good. Um I'm going to um I'm going to um like run over and see if I can use magic to dissipate, dissolve or something,
Mm-hmm.
whatever this webbing is. So
Yeah,
that's a
that sounds
uh,
like defending
unleash.
someone.
Okay.
Yeah, you're defending someone or
Defending.
something from an immediate threat.
Yep.
So I'll have you roll plus savior for that.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
What?
Full hit. So that means that, yeah, I think your magic is able to sort of just dissipate, to dry up this sort of weird biomembrane. It just sort of dries up and flakes off, and you're able to just sort of. I'm offering dry out, like if you have a different idea for what your magic does to these
No,
things. But
no, I'd figure it would be something like drying out, like dissipating the bonds, as it were,
yeah.
and letting it go from there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but yeah, you were able to sort of get the ones that were on him off and sort of clear that space. Do you
All
have
right.
any other immediate
Um,
action?
See if I can so Antares seems to be passed out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see if I can shake him awake.
All right. So I think ordinarily the rules would suggest that once you've sort of been taken out of a scene in that way, you can't come back till the end of the scene. But I'm going to allow it in this circumstance that this would be a comfort or support someone move that could have the potential to clear a condition, which I will allow to work in this way at this time.
Okay. All right. So comfort, mundane.
Yeah. Okay, that's a 7. So that means that on a hit, they hear you. They mark potential clear a condition or shift labels if they open up to you. And so, yeah, so Antares, you can clear a condition and come back awake, assuming
All
that
right.
you feel like you would be you would be receptive in character to Ilanil trying to wake you up.
Yes, I'm not so hopeless. Hopeless, actually, hopeless is the one thing I took off, that and also kind of confused. Like I had not seen Alana, didn't know what she was up to. So yeah, so or like almost half curiosity rather than anything. Like,
And actually, I do have influence over Antares, so that's
yep. So
yeah.
that works.
So
All
I
right.
will take it.
Great. So the two of you describe the panel here, because just this feels like it would be an important moment.
yeah, I say I figure like I'm doing the kind of the like the assessment, but a little shake. Hey, what the like? Are you okay? What happened? And
And I'm kind of draped over almost like like Christ Pieta style, and just
Mhm.
like eyes blink open, like what? Huh?
And the harm/comfort fix on AO3 go through the roof.
Exactly. If anyone's filming this. Sorry, Mayhem.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
All right.
I'm not upset.
Lovely. Yeah. So
Mayhem is
I
upset.
think we've got a lot of chaos still happening.
yeah,
Vanguard, you have had a moment here where I think you sort of felt yourself almost entirely retreat into panic. There's a lot still happening. What would you like to do?
Oh man. Are we currently safe, or are there still many critters?
No,
oh,
they're
there's
still all
critters.
over. There's still
They're
lots,
all
yeah.
over.
Right. Do we see the hole that have we figured out that our friends have been have we seen where our friends have been taken, or even figured out they've been taken?
Blair
Yeah.
literally called you and
Yeah.
said,
Right, called.
So
okay.
yes, you have now been told, and like Flair said, come this way. We're going to help Curie, basically.
Right. Oh boy. Well, he's gonna go help a friend, but he's not happy about it. He's gonna go. Can he, from where he's at, can he see where Flair is, or has Flair gone already into
Blair set off a huge heliocentric
Right.
Set up a rally
heliokinesis
flag.
power.
Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll go there, but
Mhm.
is that on right, you set that right up on top of the hole, correct?
Right. Yeah. I'm standing right on top of the hole.
Yeah, so I
Right.
think you can run over there and see this hole. I don't
Yeah,
think you need a roll just to kind of get over there for the moment. Although there's definitely more of these things that seem to be kind of scuttling around and trying to move in again.
right.
Do we have to have all 5 of us together to enter battle as a team?
I feel like we've kind of already been in battle, but if we want to get to a moment where you've assembled, I'll allow you to do the roll if you like.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like getting everybody to this spot, which, you know what, narratively, I think is valid at this point, that we can have Ilanil and Antares make their way over. We have the 5 of you now gathered around this hole, preparing to go ahead and try to rescue Curie.
I think it's time. Yeah.
Who's the leader?
I think, even though it's not
think
the
Flair.
ideal one.
I would say it'd
I-
probably be Flair, since
Yeah.
Certainly the
Yeah.
one that's kind of doing a
Doing the leadership
Doing the
thing.
making
rally
a plan
move,
and
you did the Avengers Assemble.
Yeah. So yeah.
you enter a battle against a dangerous foe as a team. We start by adding 2 to the pool. Do you, as the leader, have influence over every teammate, Flair?
I do not have influence over every team.
Okay. Does everyone have the same purpose in the fight? I think yes, right?
Yeah.
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 So that would make it, we're going to be adding 3. Does any team member not trust Flair?
Nope.
Nope.
I think the team, ill prepared or off balance, I think you could make a case for it, but I think you've been punished enough for that. So we're going to add 3, which means the team pool now stands at 4.
Hey. All right. I am going to unleash my powers. I'm going to turn into a giant, well, not giant, a 10-foot diameter mole
Drill?
machine, the kind with the
Oh
drill
yeah, yeah.
on the front and
Yeah.
tracks and stuff like that. And just like, rocks and dirt flying in all directions and go down after
Yeah. Hopefully, you don't come upon Curie too quickly.
I mean, hopefully I've got like senses. I'm not going in blind
Sure.
here.
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of
Yeah.
joking.
Yeah.
All right.
So this giant orange digging machine starts going down this tunnel after.
Okay, that
So
definitely seems like an unleash your powers. Okay,
an
that's an 8. So that means it's you can either mark a condition or it will be unstable or temporary.
I'm going to mark angry
Okay.
because I don't want this. I don't want to be like not making a tunnel that my friends can't come down.
Sure.
I want this to be a solid tunnel. So I think actually the sides of the tunnel as he's going have been fused into glass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
With some extra like heat stuff going on. And with Aurelia's permission, she's like cooling it off as
Mm-hmm.
as we're going, so that there's
I
like
think
craze
she
marks.
is really excited to be helping at this point,
Yeah.
and she's like, wow, I know people did these hero things, but I never thought I would be part of it. Thank you for bringing me along. And she like hugs the wall of the digging machine.
So there we go.
Love that. So is the idea that everyone's like riding you, or they're just following you down the tunnel?
They're following me down the tunnel.
Okay, great.
I'm making a tunnel big enough for all of us rather than just like a body with.
Right. You're not just having to like wiggle through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Single file. Okay, great. So with this tunnel in progress, I'm going to go ahead and say that part of what happens here is that you, with this tunnel, dig through and find yourself broken into another tunnel.
Okay.
And so, you know, well, you know what? I just realized what makes sense here. It's not like another tunnel that was dug already by these things. You're in a city that has public transportation.
Oh no.
Oh, subway.
So without making it because you succeeded in your role, so I'm not just going to have you fall onto a subway track. But I think what you do find is that the small tunnel you were following, does enter
the subway,
a subway tunnel, and so you're not at a station, but you're now
we've got
like
that narrow platform on the side that they use for evacuations when a car gets stuck in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll transform back into my usual shape, and I don't want to like take 2 turns in a row, but I feel like a assess the situation to try to figure which way they took.
Right. So this is a like this game is not one where we're like in initiative. I've generally been calling on people just to sort of make sure that we don't have anyone who's getting just like left out. But like if you all want to just sort of decide who's making moves here, I mean, Flair is kind of leading the way, but if you're fine having Flair go ahead and move in to assess as well.
Anyone ready to make any moves before I do that?
No, the only thing Vanguard will do though is he will call his Gramps, and it's a quick message. He simply says, "Gramps, he's back, and we're going after him," and then he goes down the tunnel.
All right.
And the cell service bars go from 3 down.
Oh, yeah,
because subway.
You beat me to it. Some subway tunnels have repeaters in them these days. It's not always because people are commuting. They want to be able to use their phones. Anyway, but yes, but not this time. Flair didn't realize that actually drilled through the power cable for the smoke meter. So, you know, so in any case, I think, yeah, you've now got this, you've reached this other tunnel. Um, your transmission went out, Vanguard. So now we want Flair's assess the situation.
Yes.
All right. Okay, that's a
Okay,
7,
that's it.
which lets you ask one of the questions from the move.
Yeah. What here can I use to find out which way they took Curie?
Okay. I think that you know that you already have some little bit of tech gear or gizmo that will let you sort of like pick up the biosignatures of these things,
Right.
and like, have it
Yeah.
display little footprints in, like, Arkham
Right.
City detective
Okay.
mode sort of style.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Um,
So one of my I take off one of my rings and it kind of opens out into a circular like viewer type of situation, and it's like an oversized magnifying glass, which is very appropriate for a solar superpower guy.
See, I was kind of imagining having like a flashlight, and where the flashlight
okay.
is showing, the
Yeah.
footsteps glow.
That works too. Yeah.
That's so.
Yeah.
If it, whichever of those you like,
Actually, I'm
just...
going to combine them. It's going to be a magnifying glass, but it shoots out a beam that, like a flashlight, that illuminates the tracks
so everyone
that we're
can
following.
kind of see that. So I think with the discovery of a trail, that's a good opportunity to pop back over to Curie again. I think you've definitely sensed at some point that like these things have been moved you into like a bigger tunnel of some kind. I think you maybe heard a train go by. So I think you're probably aware that you've been, at least at some point, moved into a subway tunnel. Are you doing anything else to try to escape? I think now that you're still wrapped up, but you're not in a tunnel that's literally only as big as you are.
Could I use straight up creeping to get more information about the area?
Let's see.
When you scope out a person or place, roll plus mundane.
Yeah, I'll allow it here. That I think we might normally expect that move to be like when you are sort of skulking around, but I think it could certainly still apply in a situation here, especially since some of those questions would directly apply to this situation. So yeah, so when you scope out a person or a place, you roll plus mundane. Look at that, full hit. So that means
There we go.
you can ask 2 of those questions from this move.
Let's see. Whose place is it? As one of them.
Okay.
But is there like a tunnel number or something I can see, or some sort of identifier?
Okay, well, so I would sort of usually interpret that question as like if you were in a lair, like whose lair is it, right? That sort of thing. But certainly in this case, I think you don't especially since you just followed them and you didn't even really hear what Vanguard and Mayhem were saying. I don't think you know what these things are, right? Or who, right? So I think what I'll allow at this point is you are now able to sort of connect those dots of realizing, wait, wasn't there a villain who had creatures like this? They were called the Grave Tide, weren't they? It was Reaper. Is that he was a villain that was supposed to have been dead, and now that you think about it, that statue that blew up was supposed to have been commemorating that battle. I think you sort of Now that you've had them for a moment, you are able to connect those dots.
They're the wrong
Okay.
dots, but you connect them.
Well, I mean, you know,
Eh,
it's
they're correct
related.
enough for this.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is my best way out?
Yeah. I think that you have been able to determine that these things, these little critters, are seem to be like they're not being directly controlled, right? They have their own little sort of instincts, programming, behaviors that they are following, but they don't act individually intelligent beyond certain sort of animalistic type of behaviors, right? And so you don't get the sense that like each of them is literally got an intelligent person behind the controls, so to speak. Which means that they probably could be tricked. They're not super smart, right?
Okay.
You know, and as a result, they might not realize if you were to be doing like if you had like a human person who had taken you hostage, they might be watching for you to be doing things like trying to loosen your bonds or something, right? Whereas these things don't seem like they're that aware of smart things that a person can do, right? So as you tell me what it would be, but I think you have some way that you're able to sort of start loosening and working at this membrane, and you think that they will not be able to notice you doing that until the point where you are able to break out of it. At which point they might try to get you again, but they won't catch you until you succeed. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I basically have some medical supplies, and I'm able to pull a scalpel out,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then and just start working at the membrane
Yeah.
a bit. Yeah.
And so I
Hmm.
think that unless you have some other move that might make more sense and unleash your powers based on just your sort of agility, your finesse, with
Okay.
tools that you're familiar with, would apply here to overcome an obstacle.
Oh,
Boy,
my.
oh boy, oh boy. So
Oh.
I think you recognize that like you're making progress, but this membrane is just really like it's really like thick and sticky in a way that is just making it like your little scalpel is just not making a ton of progress. Like you think that it's working, but it's very slow.
It's more elastic than expected
Yeah.
for against a sharp edge.
Right. And so I think you're so that's going to be another condition though, I'm afraid. But
Angry.
you know what? I think and how about this? Um I another just narrative fun way to do this might be that it's not just that it's really slow, it's that like they take you over sort of an unexpected bump and you drop the scalpel, which means you don't have it to continue trying to cut, but it also might be another clue for someone to follow.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Yeah, I
All
like
right.
that.
All right.
Do I still take the condition?
Yes.
Okay, so angry, I am at 4 out of 5.
All right.
no.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, you got a team following you though. So, so you have got a little trail to follow. These Flare has been able to illuminate the little biosignature footprints these things are leaving behind, and
A trail in the dust where Curie's been dragged. Yeah.
So, is everyone just kind of following that, or does anyone else have any additional sort of moves you would be wanting to make?
I think I'm just going to be following because,
In hot
Yeah.
pursuit, so to speak?
yeah.
Yeah, just following.
Yep.
Any of you guys have any idea of what these things are? I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, and as they're running, Vanguard will be like, to make a very long and complicated story short, they're a dead supervillain's minions.
Or not so dead.
Yeah, I guess
Or
at this point, not
or
so
someone
dead.
might have picked up the mantle. That's another thing that happens. I ask me how I know.
You
They
know,
left an apprentice.
that would probably be better than someone coming back from the dead. Though, to be fair, we didn't find a body inside the mausoleum before it exploded. So,
Wait,
Wait, what?
mausoleum exploded.
Yeah.
I don't think we should be going into this without having the whole story, Vanguard.
I think we're skidding to a halt.
Yeah, this is like Flair is standing there with his hands on his hips,
Mhm.
and he's
you
like,
know, things going in a funny
Flair-
direction.
Flair, roll a quick
Hold on.
mundane for me.
Okay. Is it? Am I piercing the mask? Or,
No,
because
this
I've got
is
penalties
something
for that.
else. This is something else.
Just a straight
Just
mundane.
straight mundane.
roll.
Yeah. Well, actually, if
Okay.
you have a penalty against it right now, do include that.
Yeah, because I'm angry, so that's why I'm reacting this way.
Yeah.
is-
Okay.
So
Okay.
6.
All right.
If somebody wants to help, we can bump that up to 7, but I think it's better to leave it that way.
No,
because I need
this
some.
is not a
potential.
normal move.
Yeah.
What this is
Okay.
that the rest of the group, tell me who it is among you that notices that this blue lady that's with Flair is standing there awkwardly waiting to be introduced, not knowing any of you, and just kind of feeling super awkward standing behind. Because Flair, are you still in drill machine, or you switch back to when you?
I've switched back to my regular.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
regular
So
Flair
she's just
persona,
standing there, feeling really kind of awkward and left out.
Yeah,
and
and feel free to point out the hypocrisy because I'm sure that will make Flair feel so much better.
and Vanguard, Vanguard
Unfortunately, our friendly person is not there.
Yeah. Vanguard is about to say what's up, and then he sees this blue person and goes, "Who's that?"
That's Aurelia. That's my girlfriend. What are you hiding?
She's just kind of like, hi.
And Vanguard's like, a very long kept and dark secret of the mystic marksman, as he's looking at your girlfriend like,
Oh.
Surprise face.
you brought your girlfriend on a mission?
It's fine.
Is it?
It's absolutely no. Yes, trust me. It's fine.
Wait, is she another one of your people?
No. Well, no.
Oh.
I'm not. Aurelia.
Should I go? I feel like I'm complicating things here.
And he's like, and Vanguard's like, you know what? Honestly, it's fine. These are Reaper's minions. So the Mystic Marksman covered up probably one of the greatest betrayals in the history of the Marksmen. One of their own betrayed them, and they covered it up by saying he lost his life in the battle against the very villain that he was. And these are his minions, and he should have been dead. And I mean should have, because Gunpowder Guardian generally, when he puts people in the dirt, they don't come back.
But
We didn't find a body in the mausoleum. We found a bomb.
Yeah.
you found a bomb.
Vanguard's been having nightmares about this dude, and he wanted to go double check in the mausoleum to make sure that this guy was done and dusted. So we broke into the mausoleum, and there wasn't a body, there was a bomb.
And the bomb went
And-
off.
and the bomb went off.
Yes.
So was this a bomb you triggered by breaking in, or a bomb that was waiting for you, or a bomb that you happened to
seemed-
just
It
go
was
off?
it
it
was
was
either
waiting for us.
it was either set to go off at a certain point way long ago when it was set up, or we triggered it by breaking in. It's either one of those two, I think.
But then these creature things showed up and grabbed Curie at the same. Now they came before the bomb or after the bomb?
After the bomb.
After the bomb.
But also, we didn't know Curie was here. We didn't know Curie was here until we got the call from you, Flair. From Flair.
Well, yeah, Curie can be sneaky. That's
Sounds
one
like
of her powers.
So I think I think some of this discussion we see as sort of just like floating panels as we have more panels showing Curie being carried along into another sort of like down through like another tunnel that's not part of the subway network into what looks like some sort of an old abandoned like maybe where a tunnel was going to get extended, but then it like they canceled that project, so it's just sort of like old and in disrepair and disused.
The
and
Green Line extension.
Sure, yeah. So they as we see this this membrane that Curie is wrapped in sort of carried along, I think we see the shadow of a humanoid figure saying, when the others arrive, kill them. And then the shadow withdraws, and we see a couple of these little crab creatures carrying Curie along in the foreground, and then in the background we see a similar, like one of the little clawed feet of these things, but much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so that we see some of that with your discussion happening, sort of like, in little bubbles above.
Does Curie, Curie hears that, I presume.
Yeah, I think you can't see who said it, but you do hear the words.
I'm guessing I also don't recognize the voice at all.
No.
Okay.
It sounds like it's coming through a mask anyway.
Okay.
So still might be Chadwick.
Oh.
Chadwick wear a mask? Come on, he probably loves this face more than anything.
Yo, it's your boy Chadwick.
Hey, it's a
here,
good
coming
it's a good
from
cover.
The subway tunnels. Got a bunch
Yeah.
of biomechanical crabs taking in harbor kids. No, that it doesn't sound like Chadwick as far as you can tell.
Okay.
So in any case, yeah. So like this conversation is happening. Now, have you actually like sort of stopped to have this out, or are you doing this walk and talk sort of style?
I would say this is walk and talk because,
Well, somebody points out that we are actually chasing somebody, and Claire's like, oh, right, okay, and we we continue.
And
moving.
we're walking and we're walking.
So I think, if you have more of that, you want to say. I didn't want to cut it off per se, but I think you're making good progress. Or it could just be that like once you're reminded, oh wait, we need to hurry. Maybe that just awkward at that point.
Yeah.
So I think then that what happens is you are continuing to follow the trail. You see a point where it starts to burrow through a wall where this wall has left behind, like it's not a big opening, but it's kind of crumbly. And you see it has gone into another sort of larger cavernous area. And all of you sort of squeeze through this opening. You follow the trail, and now you've emerged into this. It's dark, except I think all of these critters glow. I'm suddenly thinking of the bits in the UV light bits of the shiny song from Moana.
Mhm.
So it's dark in here, but you can see a bunch of these little things on the ground. A couple of them clustered around this Curie-sized bundle, but also then an enormous one of these things, the size of a I was gonna say a city bus, maybe not quite that big, half of a city bus, steps in. It's a big one, and the little boss monster health bar starts filling. But yeah, so you emerge, and it looks like the thing is coming right at you.
Woo!
All right. Well,
Punch
do
his
we,
eight.
do we spot um uh uh Kiri anywhere there?
Yes, yeah. You see the little what you assume is probably Curie. It seems Curie sized and shaped, just wrapped up in some sort of a slimy membrane.
Yeah, I'm going to release a very precisely targeted um, sunbeam that flashes that membrane off without harming.
Okay, that sounds like an unleash your powers.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
11.
that. Full hit. Yeah, I think that in similar way to Ilano's magic previously, sort of just this sort of flash of light, this super intense, brief flash of light makes this membrane brittle, and all of a sudden now, Curie, you're able to just sort of tear your way out of it.
They're gonna try and kill you.
Yeah, I kind of got that feeling.
All right, it sounded like Mayhem was just heading in for the
Heading in to punch some stuff.
fisticuffs with the giant thing crab.
Yep. And this is definitely punch everyone, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Yeah, you're just charging on in.
Charging on in, punching in the face. Let's see how tough this thing is.
Mm-hmm.
That's an 8.
Okay. So an 8. Let's see. You're the. I'm just looking at this. There's special moves for this. This is punch everyone. Okay. So that's just you let adjust your labels, but otherwise it's the same. In directly engage a threat move, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Well, on a 7 to 9, you're able to choose one from the list. You know, resist or avoid their blows, take something, create an opportunity, impress, surprise, or frighten. So you're trading blows. Like you're
Right.
giving it a condition, but you're also going to take a condition unless that's what you choose.
Okay. I think I think I want to go impress, surprise, or frighten the enemy. I kind of want to surprise him because I don't think it would have expected someone to just run up and punch it in the face.
Mm-hmm. What I'm going to suggest here, because these things don't strike any of you as being terribly intelligent. And so there's not really an emotion of surprise in that way. But I think what it's got is these really gross little eye stalks. And you think that part of what you do in your initial sort of you know, your initial exchange of blows is you sort of backhand a couple of those and send them sort of wobbling around, and you've given it like a big sort of black eye, so to speak. And it looks like it's sort of like trying to refocus those, but it looks like it's it's disoriented for a moment. But you've also made it mark angry, and so it is going to immediately so first of all, you're going to take a condition just from that initial thing, but also now because it's angry, it's going to try to lash out at you, and so I need you to take a powerful blow. So roll plus
Okay.
conditions.
Vanguard.
so
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
I have a move called Never Give Up, Never Surrender. So Vanguard will, as he's diving in behind Mayhem,
Mm.
will take that powerful blow. It says, Never Give Up, Never Surrender. When you take a powerful blow from someone with far greater power than you, use the move instead to, yeah, and I'll do that with, sorry, not Never Give Up, Never Surrender. I'm sorry. It's called I Know What I Am. It's like once per scene, you can defend a teammate.
Right. Okay.
And you can shift Savior up and another label down.
And so that will allow you to. So I will allow you to. You're going to make the defend yourself move, and possibly be able to, or to defend Mayhem from this blow. And depending on how that move goes, we'll figure out what happens next. But so go ahead and roll your plus savior.
Alrighty. Maybe plus Savior, and I can move it up. Move it up one for a second. Didn't want to roll it twice, but that's fine. There we go. Alrighty.
Okay.
9.
All right, and that's a 9. So you let's see, because you did shift your labels, it also is going to add 1 to the pool, which also means that with a 9, if someone wanted to help with this, you could maybe make it a 10.
Yeah. Flare distracts it with a burst of light
Okay.
to help him out there.
Great. So I think then that means that on a hit, you keep Mayhem safe, and you are choosing one of these things. Add a team to the pool, clear a condition, take influence over someone you protect.
I will just add a team to the pool.
Okay.
So I spent one, we gained one, and nothing happened.
All right. Yeah. So
Well,
I'll leave it as.
Protect somebody from this.
Yeah. No. So it was about to just swallow up Mayhem, but you with your the two of you teaming up there are able to sort of do you end up like deflecting its blow? Do you get Mayhem out of the way?
Kind of like he kind of comes in with like a shoulder charge, kind of like,
Mhm.
and kind of just knocked it out of the path a little bit.
Great. All right, who next?
Okay, so we have one large creature.
Yes, but there are also like a dozen or so of the small ones. But the large one seems to be certainly
The large one. The large one is
the biggest threat at the moment, for sure.
Is the existential threat.
Yeah.
So
it's big, the biggest, both metaphorically and literally.
okay, so let's directly engage that threat and send some
Great.
cosmic energy its way.
Sounds fun.
So I'm not going to use any of my burn, just straight up bring up the power and
great.
launch at it. So that's plus danger. I don't have hopeless, so I could use this, or afraid actually. So it's good. Let's go for that.
All right. Look
Wow,
at that.
I actually got a hit.
12
Oh,
full hit. Yeah, so that means that you are trading blows, like you're going to inflict a condition on it, and you will take one unless you also take resist or avoid their blows, but you can pick 2 from the list.
I will resist avoid their blows and create an opportunity for my allies, because I'm a member of a team here, and me blasting it might give another heavy hitter a shot at it. So
Right. So you are going to inflict afraid on it.
good.
And so I think that it is it is for the moment sort of like scuttling back and away into into the shadows a little bit, which is making some of these the smaller ones are still kind of like moving in, but you have like you've pushed it back for a little bit, so it's not immediately like threatening you all. The smaller ones are there, but like for the moment, it's not actively like swinging at you. And so yeah, and so you've given it this this additional condition with your blast.
Batter up, I say.
I think Kiri would um bring up and away from the remnants of the cocoon,
Mm-hmm.
and I think go after try and just go after this thing, you know, using the opening and just
All right.
try and just body slam its gut.
All right. Get over here. All right. All right.
So
So that this is going to be directly engage a threat.
um is this I was just wondering
Roll
if
plus
second
danger
dimension
unless
would
you had.
work?
I'm sorry. What?
Second dimension?
I'm not hearing what you're saying. Is that one of your playbook moves?
Yes.
Okay.
Use
Yes.
saber.
Suck it, Domitian. Yeah. That is going to be when you stand strong while dramatic. I think you're not dramatically under fire right now because it literally just got
Okay.
pushed back.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is and no bonuses or anything other
I mean, you're rolling your plus danger.
okay.
Okay. Well, so that's
Yeah.
a 6, but that means that it could potentially be made into a 7 to 9.
I have
Yeah.
an idea of how we can do that.
Yeah.
So Vanguard, when he sees Curie going in for this hit, and he's now next to Mayhem, he says, "Hey Mayhem, you want to help out Curie? I think I'm gonna call. Remember, I was reading a comic. They call this the the 8 special." And he grabs Mayhem and yeets her towards the to help out Curie.
Okay.
Oh, Mayhem is all for this.
All right. Yeah. So we're going to spend one from the pool, but that'll make it that will make it a 7 instead of 6, which means you are going to trade blows with the creature, and you pick one from the list.
Yeah. I think this
I mean, you
would
might
be
not
one
want
to
to take a
resist.
condition at this moment. Huh?
Huh?
Yeah, you want to. I was going to say, weren't you at, towards
Yeah.
the max of
Resisting
condition?
is a good idea.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. So describe to me this badass move, where Vanguard and Mayhem assist you with delivering the blow that kills this thing.
So, what Kiri does is runs up kind of between two of its legs and just tries to shove up, and there's almost not enough room until Mayhem comes flying in, slams into the side of it, and gives Kiri the perfect spot to uh, have a good impact and not get smacked in return.
Always
Very
important.
Right. So, I think that this thing, it has kind of a shell, sort of, that is just crunched, and without that structural support, all of the horrible biological pieces that make up this thing are just not able to hold together, and it sort of just kind of slops to the ground, and then begins to kind of like smoke and hiss, and you can see that it's starting to like rapidly dissolve. And then you realize, looking around, that all the little ones are doing that too. They have all just kind of like dropped limp and are just like instantly dissolving into slime.
I am going to try to do a quick analysis of this to see if we can get any clues as to the origin, powers, etc., of whoever we're up against here. So
Mhm.
I would like to make an assess the situation roll.
Yeah, go
here.
for it. Look at that, full hit.
Full hit.
You're able to ask 2 of those questions.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is kind of a narrative
Yeah.
version of the move, so I'll give you a little bit leeway on
I would
Like-
like to use a version of who here is vulnerable to me to like find something about them that is a vulnerability.
Right. Okay.
Like how they, what kind of signals that they use to communicate with each other,
Mm-hmm.
or like that kind of thing.
Sure.
I
Okay.
want, I'm looking for, mostly I'm looking for a clue as to like who's
Yeah.
behind this.
So I
But-
think, yeah. So I think what you discover in your analysis here is that neither for the big one nor the little ones
Mhm.
did this happen just by itself. It was triggered by
Yeah.
a signal that's being
Oh.
given off by a device in the room. And
Aha.
you realize that there is a camera rigged up on the ceiling. So someone was watching, and when you dispatched the big one, it sent a signal that triggered all of these things to dissolve.
Okay, I'm going to use my alien tech power to modify that camera so that I can see back the other way.
Okay, yeah, fun.
So I'm rolling on freak. A 9.
Okay.
Good enough.
All right, yeah.
Because
in
I
fact,
only need one use out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that you are able to briefly hack into the little signal there.
Mhm.
And you see the other side. I'm trying to think how this would work. I think it's alien technology, so it doesn't matter that he doesn't literally have like a webcam pointed at him.
Right.
I
I'm
think
ju-
it's just
I'm
like
using
we're
his
we're
monitor
suddenly
as a
having
camera,
yeah, we see a sort of classic security room setup where there's a desk with a whole bunch of different monitors, right?
Mhm.
And I think in the panel where that we're seeing this, we're seeing over the shoulder of a figure who's sitting at this desk, silhouetted against all the screens. And
Yeah.
we can see on all of these screens, a bunch of the prominent ones are showing all of you standing in the station where you've just had your battle. But several of them are showing also angles from like the park, where you can see all of the ones that were still up there on the surface are also dissolving.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, first, separately on each screen is Flair's face. And then changing to where it's that thing where it's like all of
Yeah.
the screens together with one big picture.
Yeah.
And I think I like to imagine it's you going like,
Yes. Yes. And also all the like the settings that the frames are in take on that meteorite texture.
yeah. And so I think that for a moment, you get an image of, well, how about this? Vanguard, what does/did Reaper look like in costume?
He would look like almost like, think of like almost like Mum Ra. Like he wrapped himself up in bandages, had like this spooky cloak, you know, always kept his face covered, sort of thing. Maybe even had a affected voice, not maybe Skeletor, but more like Dr. Claw.
Oh my God.
And he definitely was a very dramatic individual. The fade into the shadows, Phantom of the Opera type. Once he always monologued before his plan came to fruition.
So I think this is the figure that you see momentarily, Flair, in this room, and I think that there is kind of a like a stiff, angry body language. And then they pull something from like the pocket, like the inside pocket of a cloak, and press a button. and all of a sudden, like, you're kicked out of that
Right.
signal. And
Yeah.
we're not gonna. This
yeah.
isn't mechanical or anything, but I think very briefly you have like a piercing headache.
Right, right. But I would like to have like had that image be able to be visible from everybody else.
Well,
So
I
it's
think
like,
I think having
that-
seen it yourself, you have the
Yeah.
capability to create like
so
displays
yeah,
or something.
yeah,
So you can
display.
share it even
so
if it wasn't live per se.
so yeah, so Flair wincing just kind of holds up a hand and a holographic image of him in that kind of orange light that Flair's powers are always in, like in this image behind me.
Mhm.
Which isn't actually the color the actual sun is, but it's just like it's the color they always put. So um so is that Reaper? Or is it just somebody in his clothes?
And you just see Vanguard's face kind of, he blanches. Like he looks like you've shown him a ghost.
I mean, it can't be a surprise now. We've been leading up to this for 2 issues.
And he's like, and yeah, and Vanguard's just like, you know, yes, but seeing, live and in color what you definitely thought was impossible sucks. Um, that being said, I really hope my Gramps got my message, because I think we might be in a little over our heads, just a smidge.
I-
Who on the party here would have kind of like the most involvement with like social media and have like be the most tuned into that stuff?
Not it.
Nope, definitely not mayhem.
I would probably Flair. I think Flair's the one trying to be normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flair's only recently like gotten deep into it, but
Mhm.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that whatever your notification for like like if you've got like in a little alert set up for like people talking about the Harbor Kids or something like that,
Yeah.
you start getting those little pings like ping, 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 ping,
Okay.
ping, ping,
Okay.
ping, 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 ping.
I'll bring that up. What's going on?
So, you see that a lot of people are sharing a video. And sure enough, when you play the video, it's presented by, hey everybody, it's your boy Chadwick. You know, I was telling you about these bozos that going around calling themselves the Harbor Kids. Well, I just got my hands on some fresh live video from the park where it was recorded live, but like let me just show you what these guys are doing now. And as you all watch, you're watching a video of this everything that happened in the park, except in the video, these crab things are nowhere to be seen. There's nothing. It
Oh.
looks like you're all just like breaking into the statue, and then it explodes, and then you're all like wrecking stuff in the park, and then all going down into the tunnel.
Oh, great.
And so in the video, none of those crab creatures are apparent at all. It's like they're just weren't there.
Lovely.
And so I think actually that feels like a good sort of issue cliffhanger, honestly.
Yeah.
So congratulations on your victory, Harvard Kids. It might be that there's so I think that in addition to Flair's phone going ping 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 ping, I think there's a moment where Vanguard suddenly you get another ping.
Oh dear.
Which is like that's probably Gunpowder Garden getting back to you. But yes, I think that's where we're going to finish our story for tonight. But we got to do our end of session moves.
Yeah. And
Nice.
Christiana,
Yes.
the miss I had on the danger on the on the do I still, because it got helped by a
Oh,
got helped to make it
no. I think I would have to maybe double check, but I would say that if help makes it not be a miss, then you don't get experience for it.
okay.
Yeah. Good question.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So who has their end of session move ready?
I'm ready. I'm gonna say grow closer to the team. I mean, I took the leadership job
Yeah.
and everybody
Mhm.
accepted it. That was
Mhm.
great. He feels really good about that. Um, uh, uh, and since I don't need to name someone because I'm gonna mark potential.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing with Vanguard. Vanguard grew closer to the team because he's telling secrets. But also, did we think of a last name for Chadwick, or was it just Chadwick?
I
think
think
from what I know,
he
it's
has
just
it. I'm
Chadwick.
trying to remember. Chadwick Murray. Although I think you know that at this point because he's a public figure, so to speak. I don't think he said it in the episode before. So I'm
I
telling
want
you now his name is Chadwick Murray, but
nice. I was gonna say that I think like one of the videos he put out about us, uh, to counter or say one of the good articles about us was like, um, was the brine hole buffet stopped by the harbor kids? Looks like the conductor didn't run a tight ship. Loose lips sank the cruiser thanks to the harbor kids. And then Chad talking to his streaming, because he's a cultural influencer. Um, he's like I'm cross cultural Chadwick, and so like my cross cult, they understand that the harbor kids are such a danger to our society, and they don't believe in letting people experience stuff. I got an exclusive invitation to the brine hole buffet. It was going to be an ethically sourced way to have cannibalism. It was great for the environment. This needs to be stopped.
So somewhere in there was your end of session move.
Yes, he grew. Yes, he grew close, yes, he grew closer to the team, and
Okay.
and I'll mark potential, and he's then going to saunter off to answer that very upsetting phone call that he's about to have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's all good.
Kiri grew closer to the team because everybody came to help save her,
Mhm.
and she's going to give influence to Alano,
Okay.
and then I think take potential so she can advance again.
All right.
And for my advancement, I am taking pretty much a superhero.
Aha.
Oh, we knew that.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, I think that's a sort of a social move for you, right? Yeah. It's like it's just like whether people have heard of you or not, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's fun. Okay, cool. We still got Antares Mayhem Ilano, I think.
Yep. Antares were close to the team, especially Alano, who basically got him out of Hawk, as it were. So Alano already has influence over me, but she didn't. She'd have it now, and I'm going to clear a condition because poor Antares is wrecked, so needs to be a little unwrecked. He was too ineffective with too many conditions, so he's now less, especially since the whole Blasta thing. He's a little less insecure now, so take that off.
Just and for folks who didn't notice, Triffity Matt's in the chat saying, "Bozos, did you see that clip of the harbor kid wearing a rainbow clown wig?" And so I think the security
Oh.
footage from the store that
From
got smashed also absolutely gets shared around.
Nice, Tiffet.
Yep.
I think Ilana is kind of in a unique position to not really even understand like what do you mean shared what but yeah, in any case.
Yep. I think Mayhem also has grown closer to the team, and she's going to mark potential.
All right. All right.
Um,
Down to you, Ilano.
Yeah, I think definitely the closer to the team, especially with Antares.
Even though everyone left you alone in the headquarters.
Well,
They were
I'm
busy.
I was about to say honestly, with my growing up, I'm not used to having a lot of interaction with anyone who wasn't like afraid to say anything to me because of who my father is.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
just kind of being allowed to exist in this space without any expectations is really nice for her.
Nice.
But she's still trying to process the whole having a somewhat healthy dynamic with people as opposed to her father.
Mm-hmm.
And all
Yeah.
his minions. So definitely growing closer, like kind of in the more growing closer by even with like not necessarily having a lot of chatter or anything. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and mark potential, and that's it for me.
Great.
Are
All
you giving
right.
influence to anybody?
Um, with like everyone, I'm gonna give some influence to I'm gonna give influence to Antares in like kind of in the Antares is someone she hasn't been very communicative with yet. So having that moment, it's like, okay, this is cool.
That was kind of an intimate moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, great. So that is where we will leave our superhero adventure for this week. But thank you everybody for listening and or watching, and we will return next time for more action on so many levels.
So many levels.
So many levels.